Hi, happy Father's Day, and you're listening to 91X with Jeremy and Josh Davis, and this is Gord Davis talking to you. Papa.
The Other Side Media Group and 91X now present The Other Side Radio Show, a program about people who make a difference from all walks of life in Quinte and beyond. And now here are your hosts, Jeremy and Joshua Davis.
Hi, and welcome again to The Other Side Live Father's Day edition. I'm Jeremy T. Davis.
I'm Joshua Davis, and glad to be here. Fine as frog's fur to introduce the legendary Daddy-O. Gordon C. Davis is back in the house to tell us his story.
Well, we thought it was Father's Day, and it was only fitting to have you back in the hot seat. Now, Dad, some of the things that we didn't talk about on our most recent interview with you are, can you tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings growing up in the little village of Glen Miller, Ontario? And Grandpa Ray was a millwright there. It was a mill town. So can you tell us about that, please?
Well, it was a great little village to live in and play in and go to school, and to SS number 6 Sydney Public School, and then on to Johnstown Public School, and on to Badawal Public School, and then Frankfurt, boy. But going back to Glen Miller, let us see. We had a great old time. We had a swimming hole that everybody went to over by Monroe's Dock, and the old barber shop. Oh, there's so many things. And the Big Rock, we used to go back to the Big Rock.
Mayberry, Dad?
Well, it was maybe a little less than Mayberry, but there was quite a bit of that with the church and the variety store, and the old paper mill was a big thing in my life, with my dad working there, and my older brother, and my sister, and myself at one time, and my younger brothers.
So what did Grandpa Ray work at when he did the paper mill?
Just about everything, and he went up the ladder to become a millwright, and I'm trying to think, he worked on the beaters, he became a welder, he became amazing stuff like at the paper mill. A footnote there, my father-in-law actually worked there at one time for many years.
I forgot Grandpa Carl.
Yeah, so we had 2 grandpas there for the boys.
Absolutely. We love them very much, and all our family. Now, I just want to ask, Dad, it may sound a little cliche, but okay, we're living in 2024 right now. And so how do you think, by comparison, it's so different? We know the differences on the surface, perhaps, as society, but growing up in a blue-collar family like yours, families didn't always have a lot of money, but they always managed to make ends meet. Of course, it didn't. Yes, there was a lot of love and respect. Of course, we're living in a time of great inflation, but just looking back in your own perspective, how was it different, living at that time, growing up in that time?
Well, I feel that everybody was more equal. Today, a lot of people would think that's a bit of a communist way of thinking, but pretty well everyone made the same wages at the paper mill or Badawal, and so everybody had. You seem to have more than you. And I do believe they were happier. It's a strange thing. There was no rivalry to be better than the next one, it seemed.
Okay.
That may not be the case, but it appeared that way, and everybody was happy with lesser.
So stepping ahead, what has changed in 2024 better today than yesterday, in your opinion?
I'm not so sure on that one. That's a hard question. Because we still kind of like to live the old-fashioned way. We do go out and try to do picnics and the old-fashioned kind of things, and go to the shows or go out for ice cream and desserts at the new Burger King.
Yeah.
A few of those places up on the East Hill. Some neighbors are like they're never nothing like they were back in the old days. Like
Everyone used to help
yeah,
one another, right?
they would come and say, "Do you need some help?" Ray or my dad,
Yeah.
per se, and people always helped you out then, but they don't want to do that now.
Yes, I get what you mean. I mean, there's a lot of great people and individuals, but the overall, tone of the culture seems to have taken a shift. We're not trying to seem at all negative here today. We're just citing some reality as we see it anyway, in our opinion. We live in such a world that seems so competitive. And I believe that is in part because, there's so many people. We have so many people that are in need that there is people that have to compete for the same jobs and of course wages are something that have definitely changed, as you alluded to. Back then, it was more of a set wage, but now with the cost of living going up astronomically each year, no one, I shouldn't say no one, but it's very hard for many to make the ends meet. And well, you had a big family back then. There were 5 of you in total, and so back then it was different. But also back then, I might add, when we're talking about these closer knit communities, perhaps, and nothing against Belleville, we love Belleville, but as far as population, and they were smaller, and each community had their own thing, like whether it was a mill or the schools, and their own identity. You had your families that would all chip in and work, whether it was in that community or other people, if they didn't live in communities with the industry, they lived out in the country and in farming communities, and so the family would work the farms and work all those things, and so just lifestyle was different. Would you agree?
Well, we didn't have what people have today. You had the necessities, and what you didn't have, you didn't need. And you still got along. You had better food on the table. It didn't cost as much. You had a little garden maybe, or someone you knew in the family had a garden, and that's where you would get a lot of your vegetables and whatnot. Like my grandma had a big garden down at her place on Davis Street in Trenton. Yeah. And Ivan, her next door neighbor, would always be given to people these.
So it was a healthier lifestyle, perhaps?
I believe so, for the majority of people.
And also, when you were a kid, you didn't have a lot of this technology like you do now, like computers or cell phones. Yeah. So you were able to get outside and just stop and smell the roses, get dirty if you wanted to, and have fun and play games and
get to stay out till 7 o'clock.
Baseball and hide and seek and all those games. And when you were a kid back then, you were able to have more creativity. And I do believe that's what you instilled into us when we were growing up. You know, even into our adulthood today, we have picnics and we have all these things, and we talk to people and we go to festivals and Swix Island, and we go to concerts and stuff and see fireworks for Canada Day and stuff. Those things are important. Those things are the cornerstone of family life, I do believe. And I love you and Mom for raising us and giving us the power of just togetherness and loving one another. That's what society is missing, I think.
Well, I think Dad would agree. I didn't mean to jump in there. I just wanted to say, did you ever believe, first and foremost, I don't want to sound so cliche, but that you would meet Mom and then that you would be the father of 3 kids? I'm not going to. You've said we're beautiful kids before, but that's up to you. I'm not putting the words in your mouth, Dad, but not paying you to say that.
A couple of weeks have passed now, so you're not so beautiful.
Okay. Thanks, Pops. So, did you ever think that you would have a family and build a life like you have with Mom?
Well, I had hoped to. Like, when I was in my 20s, I think we got married when we were 23.
So you finished school,
High
you did all
school,
that, and then you went out to work.
Went out to work, the big manly stuff, and worked for 30, 40 years, and then got sick way back then.
Wow.
And had some heart troubles and got my leg broke and different stories, a lot of stories. But
there's one question I want to ask and jump in here before Josh gets back with what he wants to say. Dad, I don't want to sound too negative here, but okay. No. Our beautiful older sister came first.
yeah.
And then Melissa. And a few years later, you had twin boys, like Grandpa Ray said. He made the predictions. I don't know. With the help of Mama Bear, of course. you can't have it any other way. Anyway, I was thinking before we went to air today, there's some out there, and there's a misconception, not by all people, but some people. We've heard it, unfortunately, even in our family, like from other relatives who we won't say names, and that's not to be harsh, but that's the reality. What do you say to any person out there that is wondering what is life like, and how could someone do it, raising special needs children, and now we're adults, and what would you say in response to let them know that we can contribute and we do, and to sort of eliminate some of those stereotypes that still exist, where people don't think that it's possible for people that have challenges to live productive, independent lives and be a full part of society and family in general? I'm sorry, that's a loaded question, but I had to ask. It's weighing on my mind and perhaps the mind of our listeners.
Well, I would think you guys are the unsung heroes, not the old man here, because you guys never get the credit for what you've done or can do, and you do a lot behind the scenes and you do a lot out in the public. You may not be able to run a marathon, but you can stroll a marathon with your chairs. You've met more powerful people in the world than anybody I know. Royalty, hockey, celebrities, the King of England, prime ministers, all the sports celebrities you could think of, and you've had dinner with them. You've had received gifts from them.
Must be very painful for you then to hear some of the stereotypes that still exist from
It's
people.
extremely painful to hear, and even hear from closer relatives that have obviously no idea, as we thought they might have. But we move on, and that puts me to another little footnote here. Because things are quite difficult financially for us, Mr. Jeremy and Josh Davis have set up a GoFundMe to help us with like financial things that we need for the house, improvements for the future, so that the boys, as I say, will live on in that home once I go. I'm predicted.
Possibly even a new vehicle.
It's predicted by the doctors that I won't last till the fall of 24. But
you're a fighter.
I don't plan on going anywhere. So, but if I can get this extra help for them through roofers, any type of tradespeople out there, plumbing, there's, you name it, painters, so many little things that we need. We were getting yard work done left and right now. Got the ramp all underway by myself, and Mom jumped in to help me too, and so etc. But we need to get our ramp fixed or our van fixed. And
so go to GoFundMe. It's we were going to mention that near the end of the program, because that's not the predominant reason to have you on. But I'm glad you brought that up, Dad, because every little bit helps. It's not just for our personal life or anything extravagant. It's for our well-being and building on the future. And we hope that you're still with us on this journey, and we have faith. It's also so that we have we're set up with the foundation and the building blocks, so we can continue to do our outreach. After all the things in daily life, like, so we do media. And Josh does his volunteer work, but I do my volunteer political committee work. And appointments with council, and I don't plan to stop. I'm looking forward to any opportunity ahead, because we're committed to service and to the people. But so that's why it makes it very difficult for us to ask for help, because it's always been service above self. That's what you taught us. That's what Mom taught us, and so on. Missy and Grandma and that kind of thing. So back to Josh Rooney.
I just want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you to my family for supporting us and believing in us all these years. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Dad and Mom, I want to say God bless you guys, because you didn't have a rule book when we all came into the world, but together we moved mountains, and we had a beautiful life together, and we continue to. You're one hell of parents, and so to our naysayers, I say, just watch us, and the best is yet to come, and don't be down, because we're all warriors, and things are gonna get better. We just have to believe in each other and love each other each and every day, and love the man upstairs for every power and every strength that he's given us in everything that we can do. God bless you. I love y'all, to my friends and family and foes.
Well, how do I follow that? I tell you. I just want to say, it's been quite a journey. Dad, you alluded to the fact, and we talked about this before, we'll have you back. You have cancer. It's in stage 4. They don't expect you to survive, although you're a fighter. You defied the odds before. We believe that you can defy it again.
We say to cancer, beep to beep beep.
Beep to beep beep cancer. I just want you to remind the people out there, whatever trial they're going through, or whatever cancer in this case. Yours started in the prostate. It has since apparently been moving, because it wasn't because of your negligence. Unfortunately, it was missed after repeated visits, and sometimes that happens. But what words can you offer those people out there that are struggling with the diagnosis of any cancer, or those who might not know what's wrong medically, but it is that, so they can hold on? Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome, Jeremy and Josh. And all I can say for these people out there that have cancer or other difficult trials and tribulations, just keep on praying to the big guy, to God, our Father. And I'm not a religious man, but I tell you, it damn well helps. It's made me a better man. And I may not be to all people, but I don't care. I am to my family. And that's my immediate family. And there's a lot of people out there other than me that I talk to every day that have some form of cancer, and they don't know how they've come this far. But I always have time to talk to them and make them feel better. And people take time to talk to those ones in need or have a hardship like that in their family. I'm not new to this game of cancer, and that's all it is a game. And I will beat it if it's the last goddamn thing I do. So there you go. And you think the same as I do. This old guy can do it. You can do it. We're all winners in God's eyes.
Well, I love that, and I know Josh and I and Mom, we want to have one, and Missy, we want to have one giant celebration, and I'm talking about a celebration of the living and the survivors of all our friends, extended family. We want to have the best summer ever, and we're going to do it. So more on that later. Please check out our Facebook page. Again, we have a GoFundMe set up, and it's called Hope for the Davis Family, and it's on, if you go to GoFundMe.com, check it out on the search engines and search for it. Any little bit helps. If you can't donate, share it, get the word out, and together we can make a difference. Happy Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all the fathering figures out there, you know, the grandfathers, the stepfathers, everyone that nurtures and makes us into the people we are today. God bless you, Mom, our whole family, our extended family. Shout out to Sue and everyone, and we're going to get through anything, and we love y'all.
We're going to kick this beeping cancer once and for all, for everyone.
And
hang on to those thoughts.
Have you got any words of wisdom you want to leave our audience today, Josh Rooney, or Canadian author J.R. Davis?
This poem is called Father in Conversation. Father, do not forsaken me, for I love but you only. Your heart beats in my soul like a compass from the open skies. Love me forever, I pray, and I'll be with you by your side always and forever. Father in Conversation. God bless you. Love to you all.
And that's an exclusive. You just blow me away. The words, those prophetic words come to you. And it's a real gift. This has been the Other Side Live Father's Day edition. Check out our Facebook and YouTube pages for more. I'm Jeremy T. Davis, along with our father, Gordon C. Davis, in the hot seat in the guest chair, and Canadian author and my brother, J.R. Davis. We will see you next week. God bless you.
This is for the fathers around the globe. We love you more than you'll ever know. For the strength you gave me, you're truly amazing. Happy Father's Day. Place you on the highest pedestal. We love you more than you'll ever know. You chose to man up, you chose to stand up. Happy Father's Day. From my first breath to my first steps, Pops, you took me under your wing. So I'm under a king, which means I was destined to achieve anything, realize any dream, success by any means as a team. You always made me pull up my pants. Now as a man, I finally understand. You taught me not to lie. You taught me how to...
The Other Side Radio Show is a production of the Other Side Media Group in association with 91X. You can connect on Facebook at the Other Side Media Group, Instagram at Jeremy Tyler Davis, or on YouTube at Jeremy T. Davis, Belleville, Ontario for on-demand episodes and more. Tune in next week for another episode of the Other Side Radio Show.